Hello, everybody. This is Rodney Dowd once again with another powerful set of ideas for you to help your groups become more creative. And by the way, this tip will also help you as an individual as well. And it is about the calm killer of group creativity. Again, but it also the calm killer of individual creativity as well. And it is a mistake that I have made many times myself without realizing it because I wasn't aware of the research. So here's the calm killer of group creativity. It is calmness itself, relaxation itself. So is what kills group creativity, believe it or not. You won't even know that it's happening. You won't get as good ideas as if you had been in a more energetic state. So let me tell you about this study that first brought this to my attention. It was an arousal study. And there were two conditions. One condition, they made people listen to boring political speech before they had to do a test of creativity, or actually a task that required a lot of creativity. Um, and another group had listened to relaxing music of their choice, music that they really enjoyed listening to. And you would think, oh, that positive mood would help you be more creative, and the boring political speech would be less creative. But what were the results? The bored listeners were more creative. Now, what they tied this to, because, they always give them psychometric assessments to find out what is going on in these people after listening to this boring speech or listening to this relaxing music. And the people who listened to relaxing music were in a positive mood, but relaxed and in a low arousal state, a low energy state, just nice and calm. All right. An enjoyable state, but nice and calm. Low energy. Now, people who listen to the boring political speech were actually agitated. They were fidgeting. And in on their assessments, it shows that they were a bit annoyed, some of them, and they were in a high energy state. Even though it was a negative state, it was high energy. And that was associated with the increase in creativity. So the more energized you became listening to this, even if it was negative energy, the more creative they were. Now, this is just one study, and I hate to base any kind of conclusion on one study. So I looked up bunches of different studies and found quite a few all converging on the same idea. Um, for example, one study, they tested out whether standing meetings were better than sitting meetings. And it turned out standing meetings led to more creative results than sitting meetings. And that was tied to arousal. People were more aroused. Also, standing meetings, just as an aside, led to less territoriality, where people were less protective of their own ideas, interestingly enough, as well as being higher in arousal. Arousing music. There were other studies where they had people listen to arousing music or non-arousing music, and it could be positive or negative music. So you might have arousing music that made you feel bad and arousing music that made you feel good versus music that was not arousing that made you feel bad, or not arousing that made you feel good, or no music at all. And in those studies, they found that arousing music increased creativity whether it made you feel good or bad. Just like you see here, feeling bad wasn't the issue, it was the arousal. And high energy video games, to the degree, if you play they did some studies with college students, and to the degree that they were aroused by the game was the degree in which their creativity was increased. So you play the game, if you're not very interested and aroused by it, it didn't help that much, but if it was highly arousing for you, it did. So there's quite a bit of evidence that high arousal is good for creativity, but you don't have to put people in bad moods. In fact, to do it, as in they did in some of these studies, I would avoid doing that because people may decide that they don't want to come to your meetings if you're going to make them feel bad first. However, there's other studies where people have done things like change physical arrangements in the room to be more arousing. You can add pictures that are more arousing. So if you had choices of pictures, instead of some calm, relaxing landscape, you might put athletes, running or jumping over hurdles or something that would arouse the ideas, put more ideas of energy into the room and effort than relaxation and calmness. So and you can think of this in as many dimensions as you want. Think of it as sights, as sounds, physical arrangements of the room, physical movements people do. I don't know if they've done any studies about, people doing jumping jacks or exercises before doing creative, but that would definitely increase arousal. That is proven to increase arousal. So there's a lot of different things. So anyhow, I just want you to know that that's a really easy thing that you can do with your groups, is make sure they're in a more highly aroused state instead of a relaxed state, and you can avoid accidentally creating relaxed states by doing something that's very, very relaxing. So anyhow, if you have more ideas for how to create an aroused state in a meeting, that something that would be acceptable to people, please let me know. You can put a comment under this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, there's a comment area under the video. If you're watching it on my website, there's a comment area there as well. And if you would like to get more videos like this, you can go ahead and click subscribe again if you're on YouTube, or you can join my email list on my website. There will be a box there for you to sign up and get more videos on how to make your groups more effective using the science of groups. All right, take care.